Hey everyone, how are you guys doing today? Well, let's get into this whole UFC Freedom 250 UFC White House card. Now that the card is actually official and there's names on paper, let's get into this. There are some surprise names on the card, and there's a whole lot of surprise names not on the card. Goes down Sunday, June 14th. Thank God Trump's birthday wasn't on like a random Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. But I can see Democrats honestly using this as some BS ploy. Oh, look, Trump's being a king dictator, making the UFC change from Saturday nights to a Sunday night. I can actually see them doing that. I really can. A while ago, I made a prediction video that this card is becoming a large mess. And I think if you hit Dana White with some truth serum, he'd admit to it. I told all you guys. I told you. Guys, you need to listen to me. I told you people that there's no way in hell, especially a month before International Fight Week, that there could possibly be 6 or 7 title fights on this card. Now, the one thing we all know about Donald Trump is he is a sports fan. He is a lifelong UFC fan. Okay? Gave them their first break, basically, in Atlantic City. Although they, yes, they started in Denver, Colorado, but, for the most part, it was Dana and the casinos in AC. Donald and the AC casinos. But anyways, let's get into this. No John Jones. Last night at the presser after 326, Dana said that John was never part of it. John supposedly needs hip replacement surgery. That's news to me. Never heard that before. Nothing even hinted from Team Jones about that. As a matter of fact, John very much wanted to be part of this card. I mean, the guy does the Trump dance in front of Trump. Okay. I think Donald enjoys watching John Jones fight. So that's kind of a surprise. Conor McGregor was never going to fight. I've talked about this constantly. When Conor broke his leg, the bejesus was scared out of him. He's never going to fight again. Now, Dana did say that him and Conor are talking. Yeah, I'm sure they could talk about the weather. They could talk about what's going on in the news. They can talk about a golf game. They could talk about alcohol. They could talk about beating women. But Conor was never going to fight on this card, guys. One name that's shocking that's not on this card that... Look, there's going to be females from Congress, from the House, from the Senate, sitting cage side. What better way to show them how badass a woman can be than the BMF of the females, Valentina Shevchenko? I mean, this is where you give her... you make the title fight between her and Natalia Silva. I mean, Natalia's on a 14-fight winning streak, for Christ's sake. This is where you give this girl her title shot at the White House. And if you don't want to go that route, Aaron Blanchfield maybe is a good second, opportunity. This card looks like a glorified fight night card. If you could even call it a glorified fight night, it might be a step below overall a fight night card. Because obviously fight night cards are more than 6 fights. So, we're starting off with Diego Lopez against Steve Garcia. Okay, Garcia is ranked number 9 on a 1-fight winning streak. And Diego just fought for the title. Yeah, I guess, I'm positive about this. That Donald Trump told Dana White some fighters that he likes, that he would like to see on this card. Now, is it possible, injuries, other stuff, can fighters or their teams all pass background checks? I can assure you, everybody there had to get the okay from Secret Service, had to get the okay from the CIA, had to get the okay from the FBI. Okay? Especially with this being during... Well, we don't know if the card is during a war, because we don't know if the stuff in Iran is going to be over by June 14th, but probably not. It's probably going to be during a war. And I could see Democrats once again chirping that he's trying to be a king or a dictator during a war, celebrating the UFC. Well, here's the argument against that. Whenever there is tragedy or something really bad happening, sports has been used by the planet to get your minds off of a tragedy, a bad situation, right? After 9/11, sports brought the world back. During COVID, sports brought the world back. It's the job of sports to entertain, and that's what they're doing. So, while I could see it's money not spent too wisely, although it's the UFC paying it out and Paramount, I could see the argument both ways, that they should do this and they shouldn't do it. Again, my bigger problem is the background checks and certain fighters not being able to pass. And if there truly was a fight that fell out, and here's where I think that there was. I think there was going to be another title fight at the event. Right now, there's 2. Okay? I think they were going to try for a third, and that was going to be Strickland and Khamzat. But I don't see that Khamzat's team, or Khamzat specifically, because of his relationship with Kadyrov. I don't know if, especially with Trump getting shot at and so many death threats against him, and Iran still wanting to have him, you can't even risk it. And even if it's not Khamzat, maybe somebody on his team didn't pass background check. You don't want somebody that close. I'm not saying someone on Team Khamzat would pull out a gun. Okay, I'm sure they're going to all be body checked, cavity checked, and checked. You can't risk it. I'm surprised no Kamaru Usman. I'm really surprised no Colby. Especially since, here's the deal. You have Bo Nickel on the card, right? Taking on Kyle Dockhouse. Shouldn't that be Colby's spot against Bo Nickel? I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, Colby and Bo Nickel went at it at RAF 5. The two of them nonstop chirping at each other. That would have been a great battle for Trump, especially since Trump likes Colby. And we know that to be true. So Diego Steve Garcia, okay. Nickel and Kyle, again, I think that should have been Colby's spot. Mauricio Ruffy and Michael Chandler. Okay, if you want to put Chandler on this card, you don't put somebody higher ranked and a lot better than he is at this point. You give Chandler an unranked fighter. Honestly, that's what it is now. Because do any of you guys think Michael Chandler has a snowball's chance in hell in this fight? Maybe you do a rematch from Bellator and Chandler and Patricio Pitbull. Because frankly, I think that should have been Patricio's first fight in the UFC. Maybe you do that one. But guys, as I get into the bigger fights on the card, please like this video, share it, hit the subscribe button. Tell me what you think about UFC Freedom 250, UFC White House. Give me names that you wish were on this card. Okay. Here come the top three fights. Zahabi against Sugar Sean. Now, we all know that Trump does like Sugar Sean O'Malley. Okay. However, and look, Sugar's appears to have gotten over at least his mental issues, right? Former champ, sniper, one-punch knockout power from both sides. Do any of us really need to see him fight Zahabi, especially now? Really? How does Corey Sandhagen get skipped over here? As much as I think Colby got skipped over, I think Corey Sandhagen is the biggest loser of this fight card. I think he honestly deserved a spot on the card. And Corey Sandhagen, with his boxing and his movement, and Sugar Sean, that would be a banger of a fight. I'd like to see that fight. And I think it should have happened at the White House. Okay. Here we go with the two title fights. Alex and Cyril Gane. First of all, let me say this. I really, really, really hope to God somebody gives Alex Pereira goggles to wear in this fight, because we don't need him losing his eyes like Tom Aspinall. Now, I think the UFC and Dana are banking that Gane actually beats Cyril. I mean, that Gane beats Alex, because I think they want Gane to finish off Tom Aspinall. Now, whether Tom ever gets licensed to fight again is up for debate. I get my eyes injected every 9 weeks, okay? I know about eye issues. I don't think Tom's coming back. I really don't. I know they're calling this as an interim title fight, and the winner fights Tom for undisputed. And I know Tom just signed with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Talent Agency as the first MMA fighter to sign with the company. I don't see him coming back. I really don't. And even if he does, he's not going to be the same. Okay. Now, if Alex wins, that's an interesting fight because Tom has a speed advantage. And obviously Alex has the touch of Dim Mak. Now, Aspinall can flatline you because of his speed. Yes, he has power, but it's more the speed factor as far as Tom is concerned. What does Alex do as heavyweight? Look, a long time ago, I did a video where I said Alex will actually become the first ever 3-division champion in the UFC. And I'm not changing that opinion at all. However, you know, him against Alexander Volkov, I think he could beat Volkov, but it's going to be tough for him. The ground game, the takedowns of Curtis Blade, it'll be a little bit less tough, but it'll still be tough. I don't know what they're doing in Connecticut. I really don't. But you would assume with Glover Teixeira, Alex's ground game would be better than it is. You really would. You have Derek Lewis out there, and Derek's touch is still just deadly. But Alex would have to be quick on his feet against Derek. Because you definitely don't want to stand there and bang with Derek. Because it'll be a short night for you. And then we come to the main event. Ilya and Justin. Now, obviously Justin deserves it. Let's remember, Justin came to the UFC as World Series of Fighting lightweight champion. Okay? His road has been long to get to another title shot since the loss to Khabib. What happens? I'm surprised Ilya was able to deal with all his issues. You know, the divorce, the dealing with, you know, kid custody of the kids. I'm happy that he's through that. You know, no, you don't wish anything like that for anybody. You know, a lot of stress. Ilya is so good on the inside, right? But I don't want to call this turd strength, but you look at people that fight Justin, and they don't leave the cage the same as they go in. Ilya's going to get cracked. And I think this is where Justin gets over the hump. I think Justin wins the title. Now, if he does, or first of all, let me say this. If Justin does not win, I think right there on the spot, he leaves the gloves in the center of the cage. I think he retires. On a win as champ, first of all, you have to assume a rematch. You have to assume that this is going to be a banger. Both guys get busted up. So whoever wins is going to be out for a while. So you have to start thinking, does Dana now want to do another interim strap at lightweight? And does Charles Oliveira take part in it? You know? Arman Sarukian, Charles Oliveira 2 for interim. Excuse me, everybody. See, I would edit that out if I was editing. But I knew there was going to be 6 or 7 title fights. And again, the one, if I had to pick the one person surprised not on this card, it wouldn't be John or Connor, or even Colby or Strickland. It would be Valentina. Just to show how badass women could be. It makes sense that you'd have at least one female fight on the card. And yeah, I know they were hoping maybe Kayla and Amanda. But then once you know that's not happening with the neck surgery for Kayla, you go right to Valentina and say, come on over, we need you. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Mediocre fight night card with a 2 top heavy title fight? That's the way I'm looking at this. And you have to wonder, is Paramount really happy with their purchase? I mean, I'm assuming the executives at Paramount are doing the long game, thinking long term. But right now, geez Louise. And if this card, God forbid you have 4 stinker fights and then the top 2 fights, you have to question what's going on. You really do. I don't know. You also have to wonder why only 6 fights. I mean, is it like a time issue? You know, did Secret Service, and the FBI and the CIA say to Dana and the guys at the UFC, you could only have it for this time to that time? Now, obviously, we all know the time that an event starts, and we don't know when an event will end, right? Because if you have all first-round knockouts, will obviously be a lot shorter than if every fight goes to a decision, obviously. But I remember when I was a kid and I would go see my cousin wrestle at Madison Square Garden. By the way, his name is, he's long since passed away, Jerry Allen. His real name is Jerry Aratsky, wrestled under Jerry Allen, Jerry O. But anyways, the WWE had a time they had to leave the Garden by. It's the case with MMA at the Garden, and I'm going to assume all other venues. You have your start time, and you have a time you have to be cleared out by. So maybe the government, the administration gave Dana a short window for this. But he said that the team came up with a bunch of fights, and Dana is the one that put this card together. Okay, I'll give you the top 2 fights, Dana, but those bottom 4 fights have lots of holes. It leaves a lot to be desired. Again, why no Valentina? I can't get over that. That's so stuck in my head right now. She would have been perfect for this card. She really would have. You do Ilya Justin, Alex Gunn, Valentina against Natalia Silva. That's a top 3 that's pretty darn good. I don't know if a fight truly fell off. Although I think it was Hamzat Strickland. See, the one thing about Dana White is Dana is better than any other promoter in MMA or boxing when it comes to throwing BS to the wall. You know, like the saying goes, let's throw spaghetti to the wall and see what sticks, right? Well, for every situation, every story, every piece of breaking news, anytime somebody asks Dana a question, he will throw 7, 8, 9 stories or answers behind it and leaves it up to everybody to dig for the truth on their own. Remember, this is not Dana back in the old early days of Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta, when he was 90% honest, 10% promoter. This Dana White is 95% lying promoter, 5% honest. And I don't hate Dana. I disagree with him on 98% of the stuff he says. And most in the MMA media, if not all except me, won't hit him hard on facts. But anyways, guys, please like the video. Tell me down below in the comment section what you think about UFC Freedom 250, UFC White House. Like the video, share it, hit that subscribe button, put that subscribe button into a darce. Get your friends to do the same. It costs you guys zero, helps me out. And you know what? Until the next video, Cyclone saying, peace out, homies. Bye.